The following program contains graphic material, including offensive language. Viewer discretion is advised.
Every single Republican, House and Senate, every single one, every Republican in the House, every Republican in the Senate, they voted against it. Every one. Look, hear this, America. Every single Republican voted against lowering prescription drug costs. Every one. Every one. Against lowering health care costs. Every one. Against tackling the climate crisis. Every one. Against lower energy costs. Against creating good paying jobs. Against a fair tax system. Every single one. Now every single American needs to return the favor and vote them out of office. Look, and $50 billion. You know how much this year, not counting the Medicaid changes? $1.7 trillion. So I don't want to hear it from Republicans about fiscal responsibility. I don't want to hear it. I mean it. I don't want to get going here. Republican, not a single one, House or Senate, voted for that legislation. We also passed once-in-a-generation investment in our nation's roads, highways, bridges, railroads, ports, airports, water systems, high-speed internet. We got a little help from Republicans, but not a lot, but enough to get it passed. But the truth is, there are a lot more Republicans taking credit for that bill than we actually voted for it. I see them out there, and now we're going to build this new bridge here. We're all for it. And by the way, this new road, and we're going to have an internet that's going to be all the way. I love them, man. They ain't got no shame. They don't have any shame.
Are you ready? Hello everybody, it's Jeff. Oh, nice to see everybody here. Nice day here in Maine today. 80 degrees and sunny, you know, makes you want to go out there and enjoy this weather here while it's still here. 'Cause for Maine, winter comes quick. You know. I still got to say this summer in Maine has been beautiful. I mean, I can't complain about too much heat or too much rain. It's been great. I mean, I know they've been saying in the state, oh, we got a drought and all this and that, but you wouldn't even notice it because Maine, you know, is just full of lakes and rivers and all kinds of shit. So, you know, it's just, you know, you wouldn't know about a drought. But yes, the water level has gone down in certain areas. I think that's because we didn't have much snow during the winter, so there wasn't a whole lot of runoff to go into the you know, water basins and stuff like that. So, oh well. Anyway, as you probably already know, the Queen of England had passed away at 96 years old. Jesus Christ, I didn't think she was that old, but yeah. The funny thing is, they put this sign on the front gate of the palace for people to come and read, you know, about, you know, she's, you know, and it was just a sentence, and that was all it was, you know, basically telling everybody that she's passed away peacefully, and you know, we you know, thank you for your condolences and stuff like that, and that was it. You know, they couldn't even afford to have somebody come out and meet, you know, the media and make an announcement. They just had to put a sign on a fence. But then I was thinking that that's sort of the way the Queen lived her life. I mean, she was kind of, you know, and I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me on this, but I always thought the Queen was indifferent to people a lot of times, okay? Not like snobbish, just like, you know, these people, you know, just weren't, you know, that important, okay? And it really came out when Princess Diana passed away, or was killed in that accident. And she wouldn't come out and say anything to the people in England about it, and they were pretty pissed over there about that. And Tony Blair was getting mad about it too, because he was looking at possible riots breaking out all around England if she didn't come out and make some kind of speech, you know, concerning Princess Diana. And this, I don't know how many days or weeks it went by, but it was a long time. And then she come out. I mean, she come out first. She came out to look at all the flowers and cards and stuff that were on the ground. She just kind of looked at it like it was piles of you know, trash, you know. At least that's the way it looked to me anyway, that she just was, you know, looking at it like, interesting, you know, is there anything in here I can buy? You know, it's like, it was that kind of attitude. And of course we know before Princess Diana died that there was a lot of friction between her and Princess Di. Okay, there was a lot. And I mean, so much so that she actually made you know, an appearance on TV, did an interview, and basically laid out the problems she was having with the monarchy. And you know, she wasn't happy. You know, she wasn't happy with this thing. And I know she probably felt like she rushed into that marriage after that and didn't look at the whole picture. Because to be honest, I couldn't see them two actually being a good match. Okay, Charles and her were just like total opposites. Okay, Charles is a lot like his mother. Okay, indifferent, doesn't show much emotion. Okay, sort of stays out of the public eye as much as he can. Okay, and you know, Princess Diana, she grew up with people. She had friends, and she didn't want to turn her back on them, and so they couldn't stand that. They wanted her to just cut her ties off to her life before and become, you know, a monarch. And I'm like, well, and she's like, no. You know, she had a personality. She had a, you know, she's individual. She wasn't going to sacrifice all of that just, you know, just to be in that legal people there in that damn castle. Oh, the Queen didn't like that, and I know she put pressure on Charles to get your wife in order. You know, I know that's what happened, okay? And the Queen, because she's been Queen since she was 26 fucking years old, okay? So what the hell, why would you give that kind of responsibility to, you know, a person that young? No experience with anybody, okay? The only experience she has is by pretending to be, you know, some big, you know, important person her whole life, being groomed to be a queen. And at 26 she becomes queen, and her ideals, her values are all based in times gone by, okay, over in England. I'm not talking about here in the States, but England had different ways. She had, you know, an old-fashioned view of how you have to be in the monarchy, and you can see just by looking at Charles's sons. You know, you see a generation that's coming into the monarchy that have different values already, okay? They're not embracing so much the way their grandmother was, all right? They see the folly in that, and it's not the way modern Britain people want their monarch to be. They want them to be accessible, and they can't be because they're too floored by their goddamn style, and they're too, you know, in their traditions. Okay, and not all their traditions are bad, but you know, it's a different era. Okay, the stability of the government of England doesn't rest solely on the monarchy. Okay, they got that split. Okay, and so they're there basically for the country's morale, if you want to say. I mean, I don't know exactly what the hell the monarchy has in the place in you know, in the business of governing. I don't even know what the hell they do, but it's really not that, you know, so fucking important that they have to be idolized in the way they are. Okay, They're just people living in their own little world in this castle here, and you know, it's sort of like all the really high rich people live in this country in their own little worlds. Okay, you know, we got the Trumplicans who live in their own little worlds. Doesn't make them special in any fucking way. Okay, but you know, this is what they do over there, and you know, whenever one of them hiccups or something like that, it becomes front page news all over the world, and that's I can't stand that. To say that I, you know, didn't have much like for the Queen, I guess would be an understatement, because I really didn't think much of her. My impression of her was really cemented in how she dealt with Princess Diana, and I still to this day feel like they had a hand in what happened to her. You know, okay, I know that sounds like outer space conspiracy shit, but there's a lot of questions around about that's never been answered. Okay, and there's only two groups of people who could do that and never get an answer from. It's either Parliament or the monarchy. Okay, those are the only people who can hush up anybody from talking, and it's been all these years. So I figured that one or the other was behind it. Okay, or both, who knows. But she definitely wasn't respected. I like Princess Diana because she was selfless. As unhappy as she was with her husband, with being in that family, okay, she went out and did stuff for other people. She cared about them, you know, instead of trying to focus on herself and trying to see if she could fix whatever the hell was wrong. You know, in their relationship. She wasn't going to cave in there, and I respect her for that. And so she went out there and did all kinds of things. People loved her around the world. She was like, it wasn't just England, it was the whole goddamn world loved her. Okay? I mean, that pissed off the Queen to no end. I know it did. It's like Trump. Trump would have been the same fucking way. You know, if you try to one-up Trump, okay, he never would have forgiven you for that. And that's the same thing with the Queen. She didn't like Diana getting all the limelight. Okay, she didn't like that at all. So, you know, her personality always shone through. You know, at those times, and that's basically how I formed my opinion about her. I don't know what she was like behind the scenes. I don't know if she ever cracked a smile or laughed or anything like that. I don't know. All I know is what she did during times when, you know, things were chaotic, or when, you know, or at times when people needed her. Okay, I don't know. But she certainly came off as very dispassionate, you know, very, you know, indifferent to the people in her country. Okay, and I don't know if that even matters to Britain. You know, they seem to forgive the monarch too easily, I think, when it doesn't need that. So, South Carolina. Boy, what a surprise there. The senators rejected a ban on almost all abortions yesterday, I guess. You know, after the Supreme Court decision overturning Roe versus Wade, 5 Republicans, including all the chamber's women, refused to support it. That didn't blow over well for the Trumplicans, you know, that are out there. And I think this is like a big warning flag to the Trumplicans, like, hey, look, listen to us. You opened up this can of worms, and now you're reaping what's happening. You sparked a huge outcry from all the women and men in this country about what the Supreme Court did, okay? What they did. The Republicans, I mean the Trumplicans, rather, okay? They started this friggin' ball of wax, and now it's gotten so big now that, you know, they're worried, because now you're hearing some Republicans trying to backpedal away from total bans on abortions now, okay? Which is like, it's a no-brainer. You know, when you talk about making laws that are like draconian the way it is, it's always going to be a very chaos making event. Okay, people don't like draconian anything. Okay, they always want to have the option to accept it or reject it. Okay, but they don't want lawmakers making laws like that, because it's unfair, it's unjust. It's just, if you make a thing like that and it doesn't account for any exceptions, all right, that come to play. And who the hell wants that? People want to be able to argue their point, and hope that they can hear some and get to argue their point in front of somebody who's reasonable, not unreasonable. And that's what these fucking Trumplicans here, that's what they like the best, is they like to make these laws and shove them down our throats because they like controlling people. They divide the country, they pit one group of people against another. That's a way to sideline everything going on around the country, so that way we never really get to know what the hell's going on. All right, and so their only interest is for them to gain as much control over the country as they can. I mean, that was such an obvious power grab by just saying no women can ever have abortions, period. Okay, I knew that wasn't going to sit well with Republican women, and it's not, because the people that are going to be coming out in November here to make their voices heard, some of them are going to be Republican women who are not going to support what the Supreme Court did. Okay, and of course they're not going to admit it, right? But you don't get the numbers you're getting here from people in this country who are worried about our democracy being taken away from us. You don't get those kind of results without some Republican women crossing over. Okay, and this was one sure issue that was going to bring Republicans and Democrats together on. Okay, maybe not all Republicans, but a lot of them standing tall with the Democrats. So that's why I say that this was the dumbest move they ever made. It's almost like they wanted this to fail. But for what reason? Just so they can have a summer of chaos going in this country, stirring up the shit because, I don't know, as payback against us going after Trump. I mean, I don't know. Why did they do that? They ain't that stupid, okay? These people are smart enough to figure out how to try to cheat out of an election, but yet, when it comes to bringing up a topic in an election year, they pick the worst one they could think of to try and think, oh, this will unite the, no, it didn't unite anything. It even split their own goddamn party. So, I mean, how the hell did they ever think that in this day and age, people are going to sit back and let that happen? Okay, I'm sorry. This is the 21st century. We've had that fight, already, and we won it, and we've enjoyed having, that protected right in this country for decades. And now you want to just take it away without a fight? I mean, come on. So that's why I say, even an amateur politician could have saw the handwriting on the wall with this thing here. It's crazy why they were thinking that. But anyway, and I'm reading this off of a AP article here. The 30 Republicans in the 46-member chamber had a majority to pass the ban, but did not have the extra votes to end a threatened filibuster by Republican Senator Tom Davis. Davis, the chief of staff for former Governor Mark Sanford, before being elected to the Senate in 2009, was joined by 3 Republican women in the Senate, a 5th GOP colleague, and all Democratic senators to oppose the proposed ban. Davis said he promised his daughters he would not vote to make South Carolina's current 6-week abortion ban stricter because women have rights too. Quote, "The moment we become pregnant, we lost all control over what goes on with our bodies," unquote, Davis said, recalling what his daughters told him. Quote, "I'm here to tell you, I'm not going to let that happen." After a recess to work through their options, Senator Majority Leader Shane Massey conceded the abortion ban likely couldn't pass. Quote, "We were never going to pass a total abortion ban," Massey said. Quote, "We never had the votes to pass even what the House passed," unquote. Senators did pass a few changes in the 6-week ban, including cutting the time that victims of rape and incest who become pregnant can seek an abortion from 20 weeks to about 12 weeks, and requiring that DNA from the aborted fetus be collected for police. The bill goes back to the House, which passed a ban with exceptions for rape or incest. The South Carolina 6-week ban is currently suspended as the state Supreme Court reviews whether it violates privacy rights. In the meantime, the state's 2016 ban on abortions 20 weeks after conception is in effect. South Carolina's General Assembly was meeting in a special session to try to join more than a dozen other states with abortion bans. Most of them came through so-called trigger laws designed to outlaw most abortions when the U.S. Supreme Court threw out the constitutional right to end a pregnancy in June. Indiana's legislature passed a new ban last month that has not taken effect. The debate started Wednesday with the 3 Republican women in the South Carolina Senate speaking back-to-back, saying they couldn't support the bill unless the rape or incest exceptions were restored. Senator Katrina Shealy said that 41 men in the Senate would be better off listening to their wives, daughters, mothers, granddaughters, and looking at the faces of the girls in Sunday school classes at their churches. Quote, "You want to believe that God is wanting you to push a bill through with no exceptions that killed mothers and ruins the lives of children? Let's mothers bring home babies to bury them. Then I think you're miscommunicating with God, or maybe you aren't communicating with him at all," unquote. Shealy said before senators added a proposal allowing abortions if a fetus cannot survive outside the womb. Massey helped broker the compromise among Republicans that briefly returned the exceptions to the bill. He pointed out state health officials recorded about 3,000 abortions in 2021 within the first 6 weeks of pregnancy. Quote, "Heartbeat is great, but this, I think, is better," unquote. Massey said, quote, "I don't think abortion should be used as birth control," unquote. Well, who really is doing that, okay? Why do these people think that women have an abortion is like, oh, I got pregnant, and so let's just get rid of it. I don't think that's that casual a thing that women go through. But the Republicans seem to like to think that women getting an abortion is like going to Chuck E. Cheese or something like that, that they just, it's like a nothing to them. And if they are women that think that way, then those people are cold-hearted murderers in disguise, okay? Because if they don't give a shit about, about having had sex and then turning around and doing that as a, as a matter of fact, okay, then you wouldn't want that as a mother, you wouldn't want that as a wife, okay? Because anyone that can just cut themselves off emotionally from something like that is a person who cannot emotionally care about something or someone or whatever, okay? That's pretty ridiculous. That's why I think there's not as many people as these Republicans think that are that way when it comes to abortion. I think that, for the most part, women try to avoid getting pregnant these days simply because they know that the responsibility will rest on them to try and raise that child, which would, put a kink in their future, whatever, if they ever had planned out one, okay? Women think more these days about having a baby than they used to, So anyway, that's South Carolina, which is a red state, and in that red state, they ain't so red when it comes to this. They have a problem with total ban on abortions. Okay, let's go to a commercial break. We'll return.
Approximately 40 feet. That's all there was.
I'm telling you, if Pence caved, we're gonna drag motherfuckers through the street.
As Pence was being evacuated, rioters started to spread throughout the Capitol.
40 feet between the vice president and the mob.
Bring out Pence! Bring out Pence! Bring out Pence!
Make no mistake about the fact that the vice president's life was in danger.
We need to send a very big message to the federal government that we're not going to take this anymore. We need to fire the federal government.
Interesting idea. Maybe it's a good idea. Of course, 42% of Arizona's budget comes from the federal government, so that would require a 72% increase in state taxes to fill the gap. You got that kind of money? No more Social Security checks. No more Medicare. Luke Air Force Base? Gone. In fact, say goodbye to most of the Air Force, Army, Marine bases all over the state. Arizona students would need to figure something else out because federal student aid would have to go. And sadly, all the national parks, including the Grand Canyon, well, they'd have to close. And we'd also lose all of our air traffic controllers, which sounds fun. But hey, drug traffickers would be happy. There wouldn't be a DEA in the state anymore.
We need to fire the federal government.
Right now, Carrie Lake is just a kook with crazy ideas. But if Arizona elects her for governor, her crazy ideas could crush Arizona's economy, raise our taxes, make our communities less safe, and turn Arizona into a national joke. Does this still sound like a good idea?
Oj, kolla här. Kolla här.
Då var det där en lavin eller?
Ja, den är kontrollerad. Alltså, det är såna jäkla krafter.
Är det safe?
Ja, de vet vad de gör.
Pappa!
Det är ingen farlig.
Den där kontrollerad.
Harry, det är lugnt, Harry!
Be a part of the entertainment value of a lifetime.
I loved it.
It was the best performance I've seen in a lifetime.
I loved the show. I liked it very much. He's a very entertaining man. It's well worth the money.
Now appearing in Charlottetown, coming to Halifax November 6th to the 18th, and St. John November 20th through the 26th.
Other article here. This is from NBC, written by Ryan Riley, and it concerns Donald Trump's mess here of all those damn classified documents they found in his Mar-a-Lago estate there. And it starts off here: the hundreds of pages of classified government records seized from Donald Trump's estate last month aren't the former president's personal records, and he has no right to possess them, the Justice Department said in a court filing Thursday, as it said that government would appeal a judge's ruling on the matter. The Justice Department will appeal U.S. District Judge Aileen Cannon ruling for a special master to look at the documents seized during the search of Trump's Mar-a-Lago home, according to the notification filed Thursday. The Justice Department said it will file its appeal to the United States Court of Appeals for the 11th Circuit, which is mostly Republicans in that. The department also asked for a partial stay of Cannon's ruling while the appeal is pending, saying that, quote, the government and the public are irreparably injured when a criminal investigation of matters involving risks to national security is enjoined, unquote. Cannon gave Trump until 10 a.m. Eastern Time on Monday to respond to DOJ's motion for a partial stay of her order granting the special master request. And I think it's tonight, Friday night at midnight, where Trump, that's a deadline for Trump to announce who he wants his master to be in this mess here. So everybody's kind of holding on to bated breath, you know. I don't give a shit, you know, who he picks, okay? The fact is, him having the documents is a no-brainer. He shouldn't have had them, period. You know, that's national security. It doesn't belong to a private citizen. He doesn't have executive privilege when he's out of office. Parts of Cannon's ruling, specifically those enjoining the government from doing anything with the classified records it seized, would, quote, cause the most immediate and serious harm to the government and the public, unquote. The government also wrote in an eyebrow-raising line that the injunction could, quote, impede efforts to identify the existence of any additional classified records that are not being properly stored, unquote. So, you know, they're bringing up, you know, the issue that, you know, do we have all of these records, okay? Do we have all this, you know, did we get it all back? Or is there more shit laying around somewhere else in Trump's possession, okay? You know, he's got property everywhere, you know. Maybe he's got another stash or another box of files hidden somewhere that he didn't he already lied once about what he had and didn't have, okay? He was stonewalling the goddamn investigation for months this summer, telling them, oh, we don't have, I gave you everything. You got it all. It's all back. You got everything. That's what he was telling them. But they didn't believe him because they had witnesses. You know, and they ain't saying who they are, but they had witnesses that said, yes, we know he's got more, you know, and you're going to have to go get it because you can't believe him. So the judge issued a search warrant or whatever they call it, you know, to the FBI, and they had to go down there and search the house, and bingo, there they all were. Christ, they had so many they couldn't even count them all, you know, and plus they found some 15 other empty folders that had stuff in it, but they're missing. So we still got to figure out where all that went. And dude, did he make copies of some of that shit? You know, you got to remember, in the presidential race between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, Trump was getting aid from Russia. Okay, he was getting help from Russia, and you know, that's still an issue that's, you know, has been looked into. Is still being looked into. They would try to impeach him on that, but they failed at it. But the fact is that there is evidence to suggest that he had ties going on with Russia, and Russia was, you know, somehow involved in Trump's election and winning it. You know, giving him money. I don't know. Okay, I don't know what the extent of it was, but you know, it's illegal to get help from a foreign country in a presidential election, or any election for that matter, because it doesn't have anything to do with them. It's just influencing our country's right here for our people to vote here, so we have a fair election. But no, his campaign and everything, and his run against Hillary, he was getting aid from Russia. So how do we know that those missing files that they can't find in the empty folders that they found, some of that didn't go to Russia, to Putin himself? And could that have sparked, you know, Putin's interest in starting this debacle here in fucking Ukraine? You know, how do we know that? Because he figures, well, I got the goods on the United States, they won't dare touch me because I got all these files, you know, I'll just use it against him. How do we know he wasn't thinking that? You know, that maybe, you know, Trump was partly responsible for what's going on in Ukraine as well. You know, and maybe Russia was counting on Trump to get a second term so they could, you know, get United States help in Ukraine. So instead of, you know, Ukraine looking to us for help, they would have been looking to the rest of the world to stop us, because we would have been over there. You know, this is the kind of future we would have had with a second term with Trump. You know, who knows where we'd be today? We'd be up against the world right now if he was still in office and we were helping Russia invade Ukraine. You know, we would really be, you know, they would be putting sanctions on us. So, you know, you see how it is when you have a person who is criminal in his behavior in every way conceivable, okay? And without any vetting or any care at all about who they elect as president, they put the wrong person in the White House, and to their dying breath, they are going to back this guy. Even though there's like a mountain of fucking paperwork, legal paperwork that he's being charged with and investigated for. I mean, it's going to take a ton of, like a decade just to get through it all. And he was only president for 4 years. Just think of that, 4 fucking years, and look at all the fucking shit we're finding on this guy. You know, he couldn't help it. He just could not help it but be crooked from day one. You know, and then you got people on the sidelines that were loyal to him, like Bannon there, you know, big mouth Bannon, who had that stupid scam of stealing money from people because he had them thinking, oh, they're donating money for the wall. Okay, I thought that was supposed to be Trump's project. Okay, it makes me wonder, what the hell did Trump accomplish in 4 years as president? Did he even work at all on this country's issues, or was he totally in there just to see how we can scam money out of the system? Was that really what his goal was to just squeeze the shit out of this government, to milk whatever money he could get out of it, and to hell with what the country needed, you know, to keep it alive? I mean, was that really his only goal? Because he'd accomplished nothing. He didn't do a goddamn thing. And that wall that he started building, it's falling apart. Okay, the damn thing isn't even up like 2 years in there, and there's panels flying off of the damn thing, comes to the wind, it's rusting all over the place. That thing will be lucky to still be there in 10 years, whatever part that it went up. I mean, they didn't finish it, but there is a stretch of it, okay? And they showed on the news here recently that they went down there with cameras and they showed the damn thing is like falling all apart. So much for his wall, okay? It ain't standing. You know, they cut corners to steal money from that project, and the whole idea, I think, with Bannon was he got permission from Trump to use that as a way to gain more money, okay, with Trump getting a take on it. Okay, it's like the mafia, you know. And considering that, you know, Las Vegas was his, you know, capital of business most of his career, it's not a wonder that he thinks that way, okay? Because, you know, it took a long time for it to clear the damn mafia out of that part of the country. And there was a lot there going on, and you know, Trump knew all about that. So, like I'm saying, the idea that we had 4 years of Trump and we're into this investigation up to our necks here with all this evidence, and we have to sift through it. I mean, there ain't enough goddamn people on the planet to fucking do all this investigating, because the more we open up, the more we're finding. It's like an onion. We keep peeling and peeling, and you know. We'd be for a decade or more, you know, finding out things that he was doing, okay? That guy was busy, but he was busy being a crime boss is what he was doing. He had everybody and their uncle taking responsibility for a lot of things, you know, just so he had some leeway or some exit to get out of it without being involved too deeply in it, okay? And now all these people, like Bannon there, he got arrested for something that Trump pardoned him on, but presidential pardons don't extend to state, you know, legislators, okay? So he was arrested on state charges, okay, which the president can't pardon him for, okay? Only federal ones they can pardon. So he was arrested this week, and they carted him off, and he's like, "Oh, I haven't begun to fight." Yeah, like that's really, you know, and he's sitting there smiling as he says it, because he knows he's full of shit, okay? He knows he's just, okay? And people, I don't think anybody really gave two shits about anything he had to say, the fact that he was carted off in handcuffs was a great day for this country here. And, you know, it just shows that this is what happens when you run your mouth thinking you're protected by a, you know, a dark lord of the Sith there, okay, and that nothing can touch you. Well, he just found out that, hey, even Trump ain't gonna bail your ass out now, okay? This is it. Okay, fight all you want, but it's not gonna matter. You know, and just to add another layer on top of all this shit here about Trump, yesterday, an investigation was opened into Trump's fundraising effort called the Save America PAC. It's being investigated for fraud, basically. Yeah, I mean, it's and in this article here, written by Brandon Gage from Alternet, it says former President Trump's fundraising efforts following his landslide loss to President Biden in 2020 election are under investigation by a federal grand jury, according to multiple news outlets. ABC first reported on Thursday morning that the United States Department of Justice has issued subpoenas to Trump aides and allies aligned with Trump's Save America Political Action Committee, which he has used to capitalize on his lies about the election having been stolen and rife with fraud. Since its inception, Save America PAC has brought in more than $135 million, including transfers from affiliated committees, according to disclosure records. As of the end of July, the PAC reported having just under $100 million in cash on hand. In recent weeks, Trump has encouraged his followers to donate money to the PAC in the wake of the Federal Bureau investigation seizure of above top-secret documents relating to a foreign government's nuclear capabilities during its August 8th search warrant execution at Trump's Mar-a-Lago compound in Palm Beach, Florida. More than $2 million of funds have been distributed to attorneys representing witnesses that have testified before the House Select Committee probing Trump's January 6th insurrection at the United States Capitol. But the latest development is yet another tendril in the legal net that is ensnaring Trump. Quote, the new subpoenas appeared to have been issued by a different grand jury in Washington than the one that has been gathering evidence about the so-called fake elector plan, which has focused on questions surrounding pro-Trump lawyers like Rudolph Giuliani and John Eastman, unquote, revealed Maggie Haberman of the New York Times. Haberman added that, quote, at least one of the new subpoenas bore the name of a veteran federal prosecutor in Washington who specializes in fraud cases, suggesting that this avenue of inquiry is devoted primarily to examining the spending and fundraising at Mr. Trump's super PAC, unquote. Allegations that the Save America PAC has been scamming its donors were put forth by Congressman Zoe Lofgren, Democrat from California, during one of the Select Committee's public hearings in June. Quote, throughout the committee's investigation, we found evidence that the Trump campaign and its surrogates misled donors as to where their funds would go and what they would be used for. So not only was there the big lie, there was the big ripoff, unquote, Ms. Lofgren said. Quote, donors deserve to know where their funds are really going. They deserve better than what President Trump and his team did. So, you see, I mean, it's like I said, the more they investigate, the more stuff they keep finding. It's crazy how much crap this man did in 4 years. In 4 fucking years. I mean, he went apeshit with that, you know, with that executive order shit and the pen there. I mean, he did all kinds of stuff. I mean, the things that they were telling us that he was doing on TV was not even half of what that man was doing behind the camera. Okay, that guy was up to his neck, creating goddamn, you know, fake front companies and all kinds of shit, you know, and scams, and you had so many other people involved in it. You know, he couldn't get enough done on his own, so he had, you know, get people like Steve Bannon and, you know, and other folks to, you know, to get involved in it. Then he gets these idiotic lawyers here to try and protect him in case the shit hit the fan. But they're not proven to be much use to him now, are they? I mean, like Giuliani, Christ, he's going to cut and run on Trump there like you wouldn't believe here soon. But it's like I was saying. I mean, this guy, that's all he did. He didn't accomplish one thing for this country that was supposed to benefit, not one. He did absolutely nothing. And when you compare that to the things that Biden has accomplished, okay, in just this year alone, okay, he's outdone Trump by 1.5 miles. I mean, he's just, the guy, Trump was in there for himself and himself only, okay? Who knows how much money he stole, okay, on top of the classified data he took out of there that he felt, oh, that belongs to me. No, it doesn't, Trump. It doesn't belong to you. It only belongs to the government. It doesn't have your fucking name on it, okay? Only the stuff that has your name on it is yours. But the stuff that says property of United States government, that belongs to the United States government, okay? And since you're no longer president, you don't have any right to look at it, or let alone take it home, okay? Executive privilege only extends to the current president in office, okay? Not to a has-been, okay, who washed out in an election by a landslide. Okay, so, like I said, this is like I said, another shot here at us, basically. Another shot at us to show how stupid we were as Americans to vote for this guy. Okay, how stupid we are as Americans not to learn from this mistake. I mean, some of us have. Okay, some of us have, and sometimes there's always people that will remind us of the mistake we made, electing people like Nixon or Bush or something like that, or Reagan. Okay, there's always going to be people like that. But unless folks lived through those years and saw how bad it was, it doesn't really mean anything to, younger people who don't know, what it was like. Okay, certainly I didn't think much about the issue of, Nixon and what he went. I mean, I was born in 71, so Nixon was still a president then, but he was coming to his end, okay? But I don't remember anything about Nixon's crimes or anything other than what I read in history books and stuff like that. I didn't live through those years, but at the same time, I was living through the Reagan years, learning about the Nixon years, and learning about the Nixon years opened my eyes to what Reagan was doing crooked, okay, or what things were being done that weren't right, okay? So I do remember that, and I do remember how bad the George Bush Jr. years were. I was old enough to know that, okay, all the shit he did, okay? And to me, at that time, he was the worst. But then, Trump comes along and outdoes all of those guys, all of them, in one fucking year. And in 4 years, we got the result of what those previous Republican presidents would have accomplished in 20 years, okay, as far as crimes go. Trump is the worst president we've ever had in this country, bar none, okay? There is no president worse than him, ever. He is the worst. And anyone who says otherwise is not awake or even aware of what the hell is going on in this country, or they don't care, okay? Obviously, if they're not aware of it, then they're obviously Republicans, and they don't care about America. They want to see it destroyed. They want to see government, shrunk down to something you can stuff in some woman's, you know what I'm saying, okay? That's what they want to do. So in their mind, everything about America is wrong, okay? I wonder why the veterans who went to war that were caught on January 6th doing the riot, why did they give the oath to defend this country if they didn't believe in it? Why didn't they stay the hell out of it, out of joining the military? Because you can't go in the military unless you give the oath. Everything you do before that doesn't mean nothing. The oath is the last step. If you take the oath, that's it. The process of joining the service is finished at that point. Now you're property of the government. These people took the oath but lied, because here they are, January 6th, out there, beating the shit out of cops with flagpoles and hockey sticks. I mean, they were out there doing all this stuff, but they didn't care at all about the government. So their oath meant nothing. These people, you can't even call them veterans, because they lied about even defending this country. I mean, if they went to war, they'd have joined the other side to fight against us. So those people, as far as I'm concerned, don't deserve to be called veterans, okay? They don't deserve to have the access to the VA system, okay? Because they showed us on that day that they don't care about the United States. And here, you know, these are the people that are out there, you know, trying to support Trump, okay? And basically, if they're supporting Trump, then that means Trump is an anarchist and he's an anti-American person, right? They wouldn't support him otherwise. So they're looking for leaders who would just assume shit on this country as look at it. Okay, they get that with people like Ron Death Sentence and, you know, Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert. I mean, those are their favorites right there, because they shit on this country every chance they get. They stand up on the House floor and they scream and holler, you know, that we don't know anything and they know everything, and you know, you see what I'm saying? They have no respect at all for the institutions that, you know, we have in this country. They don't care. You think they give a shit about the Statue of Liberty? You think they give a shit about the Lincoln Memorial, you know, the Washington Monument, the White House, you know, the Capitol, you know, any of that stuff? Does it matter to them at all? They're only there because they think they can be a cog or a monkey wrench in the system. That's the only reason why they're there, to foster up anger, hatred, division, you know, keep this country at odds with itself. That's the only reason why they're there. And in the meantime, while they're doing that, you got, you know, numbnuts over here in the White House pulling off every fucking scam he can grab onto, sticking it to the people who voted for him, okay? And they're dumb enough to keep saying, go in another 4 years, and you know how stupid those people are. How stupid. Jesus. I mean, these guys need to go back to kindergarten. They don't know nothing. Jesus. So, like I said, it's a very sad state of affairs when you have a country with population like that mixed in with it, okay? Now, I'm not going to say everybody in America is like that, but, you know, there's still enough Trumplicans inside the system, enough to cause a major headache there, if we're not vigilant to keep them at bay. And that's really the key here, is to keep them at bay. That's what this investigation is for, is to wake up this country and say, look, this is what your president, the guy you loved, the guy you support lying about this is who he is. This is who he is. This was the vetting we should have done before this guy ran for president. But we thought it was a funny thing to have a TV show, reality show host running for president. Everybody thought that was cool. Oh, he knows how to get the crowd riled up, and you know, everybody was just looking at him on the surface. But no, not even in the fucking press were they bothered with, you know, digging into this guy's background. And who knows what they would have found before he got in there? Who knows what they would have found? But like I said, this is what this country needs to go through, this cleansing here, or this exorcism, if you want to call it. We have to go through this if we're ever going to learn our lesson. And I hope to Christ we do learn the lesson, because I'd hate to see this country go through another Trump-like fiasco again, because I don't know if the country is going to be strong enough to be able to come out of it the way we're still trying to do now, okay? We're coming out of it. You know, Biden's doing good things, okay? And it's up to us to make sure that the things that he's doing, you know, continues on with other presidents that we put in office, okay? Because it's going to take more than one presidency to get this country back on its feet again, okay? It's going to take more than one. And we can't allow any Republicans in there, because they're going to try to undo everything up to that point, okay? Setting us back again. So that's why it's important that we keep the balance in the Democrats' hands and follow their lead for now, so that way our country can regain its strength, its momentum, okay, and get us back on track, on course, so we can match up with the rest of the world, who are looking at us like, you know, we're like a third world country to them now. You know, they're seeing us at our worst, and we need to put on our best for them now. We need to show them that, yes, we do recognize that Trump was a big mistake, okay, and we're trying to rectify that mistake the best we can. And we don't want to lose the trust. We don't want to lose the admiration for this country. We want people to, keep looking at us as a light of democracy here for freedom, as we always wanted it to be. So anyway, that's it for now, and I hope everybody has a great rest of the week, this weekend coming here. And please keep your ears open to any COVID-19 updates, local, and monkeypox information here. And also, I think the CDC wants people to get booster shots for COVID-19 this right now at this period in the year. So I think it's good if people get themselves the shots, flu shot even too, you need that. So it's time to do the booster shots again. So if you don't know about it, call and find out where they're doing this stuff so you can get one. And treat each other well. Don't no fighting out there. Okay. And subscribe and comment so I get to see what other people's opinions are about things I say on here, and maybe we can have a discussion. So I will talk to you all later, and take care.